welcome to our very last Thursdays with Annette for 2020. Oh my gosh, it's been an amazing year. I've loved cooking for you. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and it's our last one, so we're going out with a big bang, big prizes, so stay tuned. But what am I making today? Well, of course, it's our last show. It has to be the Christmas cake. Oh yes, it's out of book 2, which has got a Christmas section in it. So it's just the book you want right now. And this is the cake I'm making here, the Christmas cake. And as I said, there is a Christmas section just here in book 2. It's funny, we don't care about it till about November, and then suddenly it's really important. So that's what we're making today. Now, before we get into the recipe, let's talk about last week, because we were giving some Fizzy Fabulous prizes away for December. And so we have 3 very excited ladies. So Tracy Hele, Samantha Jones and Maxine Moore from the gingerbread that we made last week are super excited, because what did they win? Well, they won book 6. They won shakes, a box of shakes, a shaker. They won an apron, Live, Love, Cook, as well as a journal. But if you thought that was good, stay tuned, because I'm doing more for this show and the last one for the year. So let's look at our ingredients we need. First of all, hello, the oven is preheated to 180 degrees. So what we need is a cup of sultanas. We need half a cup of glacé cherries, half a cup of currants, half a cup of raisins. We've got some third a cup of mixed peel, bicarb soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of mixed spice. I've got 2 cups of flour, a cup of water. I've also got, now for this recipe, what makes it moist and fabulous is it has a cup of cooked mashed pumpkin. I'm going to give you some variations with it, so stay tuned if you go, I'm not good with pumpkin, but I'll have you covered. We're also going to put 3 egg whites in, half a cup of brandy. You can use brandy or rum, and I'll tell you about the non-alcoholic way shortly, as well as a 1/4 cup or 30 grams of blanched almonds, whole blanched almonds, and cooking spray. So what we need to do is cut up the glacé cherries. That's the only job I have to do, because I've already done the pumpkin ahead. Where are they? And so what we do is just have to cut them in half. And you know what? If you feel like your glacé cherries are looking a bit pale, do you know what I did ages ago? Is I put some red colouring into the mix and just dropped it in, mixed them up, and they just came up so much red, much more redder. Is that the right English? They were so red, and I thought, you know what? You want that bright look, don't you? And so all I'm doing now is cutting the glacé cherries in half, because we want to spread the love. Now, if you're thinking, Annette, you've missed something in the ingredients, because if you are thinking that, you've got an old version of book 2. Because what I did a couple of years back, I'm sure you know, I've updated the books. And what I did is I gave them a new binding, new photos, and lots of other different things. But what I did is I checked every recipe, every single recipe in the 7 books as I know now. Like, what have I learned? How can I make this any better? And some of them, of course, I didn't touch them. They're fabulous. But I did make a change in this particular recipe. So what did I do? Well, if you've got the old version, it will tell you that in the ingredients, you also would put in a 1/3 a cup of raw sugar. No, I took it out, because do you know what? This is sweet enough. Oh my God, honey, we don't need any more sugar in it. And this is where a lot of Christmas cakes can be a little bit unhealthy, because they are packed with sugar. There are a lot of fat in them as well. And this way, this is a super healthy recipe. And because the carbs are much lower, and I'll tell you about them shortly, it's really a good Christmas cake for people with diabetes. I know. Let me wash my little sticky hands, because I always have my soapy sink. You know the routine. I always have my sink, my rubbish bin, and basically we're ready to cook. All right, so let's bring this over. It's a boiled fruit cake. I'm sorry, they're the best. I've been raised with the boiled fruitcake since I was a wee lassie. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in the cup of sultanas. Now we're going to put in the half a cup of raisins, half a cup of currants, in goes those glacé cherries, and as well the mixed peel. Now you want a third a cup of mixed peel. So if you're saying, oh Annette, I don't like the mixed peel, then what you could do is you could replace that with either a third a cup of diced apricots, dried apricots, or just put more fruit in. It doesn't matter. We're also going to put in the recipe, in the pot here, 2 teaspoons of mixed spice. So in that goes, and a cup of water. That's it. I mean, this is not a hard cake to make, and I don't know about you guys, but when you cook your own Christmas cake, I think it's a bit fabulous, and it's always made with love. So hello, if you've just joined me, I've got my my oven preheated to 180 degrees, fan force, and I'm just making the fruit. And what it is I'm making Christmas cake out of book 2. And what I put in here is I put a cup of water, 2 teaspoons of mixed spice, I've got a cup of sultanas, half a cup of raisins, half a cup of currants, a third a cup of mixed peel, and half a cup of glacé cherries. But let me tell you, now what we're going to do is we're just going to bring this up to a higher heat, and once it's boiled, you just let it boil for a couple of minutes, 3 minutes if you really want to be exact. So I'm just waiting for that to boil. But interesting enough, I thought, what's the difference between raisins and sultanas? So I Googled. Yes, I got Mr. Google involved. And what it is, and I thought it was interesting, is that sultanas, they only ever use seedless green grapes for sultanas. But with raisins, they'll use lots of different types of grapes for that. And if you ever go to America, sultanas, they have no idea what a sultana is because their sultanas are called raisins. So there you go. Not sure how many years it'll be before we can get to the States again, but anyway. So now this is boiling. I'm going to reduce it down. I'm going to put this over in my soapy sink. Put that to the side. And you're going to boil that just for a couple of minutes. Now, while we're waiting for that, let's have a chat because it's our last time to get together until we come back in February. So I know a lot of you are saying, oh, when are you coming back? Well, we'll be back that first week in February. So mark it in your diary, 2nd of February for Tuesdays with Annette. That's right, we're bringing Tuesdays back and we'll see how it goes for 2021. And Thursday is the 4th of February. So the key is, you know what, if you haven't placed your orders yet, we are going to be still manning this shop all Christmas, all New Year. So don't worry if you need shakes, oh, what am I going to do? Bill will be there for you and he will be completing orders throughout the whole season. He'll be working the whole time. I know, I'm a bit of a slave driver, aren't I? Now, if you were, like for example, like here we've got the pumpkin and you're saying, I don't really like it. Well, I have got a tropical Christmas cake in book 2 as well. And that's fabulous. I made it last year on the show and it's with a crushed can of pineapple. So look at that recipe because it is a little different. The other thing is if you're thinking, oh, you put all your separate dried fruits, do you want to make it easier for me, Annette? Well, you can, because you can just put in 3 cups or 500 grams of the mixed dried fruit. But I just like, it's different from the other Christmas one, and that's why you'd want it to be different, don't you? So that's how you go. All right, so now the other thing I wanted to talk about is if you're looking at this, it serves 16 and it's 1.4 grams of fat a serve. I know, it's fabulous, whereas traditionally you'd be looking at maybe 15 grams of fat at least. And a traditional fruitcake has 100 ingredients in it. Like the list is like this. Oh no, we're making it easy peasy. But the interesting thing is that Christmas cake can be very, very high in carbs. At probably 70, 80 grams of carbs at least per slice. Mine is only 33.9, so it's under half what a normal Christmas cake is. So that's why it's a good one for people with diabetes. Now, what I'm going to do, it's all done. take it out of the pot because you want it to cool. And you're going to just then add in, get all that out. Here we go. I'm going to put this in my soapy sink. It can be soaking. And all you've got to do is add in the bicarb, okay? So that's 3/4 of a teaspoon. And just mix that in. It will fizz up a little bit. And now what you'll do is you'll leave this to one side. And what I would suggest you do is, okay, we'll just put that over here, is this then make your pumpkin. Okay, so you'll get your, peel your pumpkin. Let me move this out of the way. Don't need that anymore. Gives me some more room to move around. Thanks for joining me today. It's Christmas Cake Out of Book 2 if you're just tuning in. So what we're doing is you make the pumpkin, right? So I was like Kent, couldn't get it, you know, nowhere to be found today. So we've got, but it still looks a good pumpkin, but I noticed that it was a little bit different to the Kent, which I recommend. And in it, I say to you, 250 grams of raw pumpkin, and that's with the peel off, the skin off, and the seeds. It's just the pumpkin. But I actually needed 300 grams, just to give you an idea, because we didn't use Kent. It was a bit, it's a bit more wet. It was a bit more watery than the Kent one. So just maybe make a note, put 300 grams down, because you don't want to have it not enough. All right, so we're moving ahead in time because I want to finish this recipe for you today. So hello, here is my cooled fruit. So remember, we've got it over there. This is it cooled. So now all we have to do is start putting it together, and we can chuck it in the oven. Remember, the oven's at 180 degrees fan force. So we've got the fruit. Now we're going to put the pumpkin in. Okay, so if you, as I said, if you don't like pumpkin or you can't have pumpkin, then what you'll do is don't make this one, make the tropical, because that's fantastic. Now in book 1 and 2 though, remember I have given you smaller versions of this Christmas cake. So instead of making it for 16, you make 4 little individual Christmas cakes, and I love them as little gifts for people that are living on their own, or you just want to give them a little something in their stocking. You could be easy to make the smaller Christmas cakes. And also in Cooking 102, I know it's a bit fabulous, that book, you can make the Christmas pudding, which only serves 4. So it's just this size, and it's just perfect if you're just a couple of you around for Christmas. All right, so pumpkin's in, give it a good mix up. And when you do, you cook your pumpkin, drain it well, and then mash it and leave it to one side. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put the egg in. Let's do, and the brandy. So we want 3 egg whites, and this is where I really save on the fat, because the egg white is going to raise the cake up and make it fabulous. We don't need the yolk in here. I mean, you don't ever, do you ever sort of eat a cake and go, oh gee, I love the yolk in there? No, we've just saved 18 grams of fat. Thank you very much. There we go. And then just really mix that in well. It's a really moist Christmas cake, and the thing is with the pumpkin, can I just give you a little tip here that you need to either put it in the fridge if you're making it this week or just before Christmas, because humidity, the pumpkin will go off. Same with the pineapple one. It's very acidic, and in the heat it really will make it go mouldy very quickly. So what do? I freeze it. That's right. Make it, put it in the freezer and defrost it Christmas morning, because you don't normally eat Christmas cake early in the morning. So it'll be ready for you, or the night before, no problem. All right, so now we're going to put the brandy in. Remember, it's half a cup. You can use rum. I do like rum as well. Now, if you're saying, oh gosh, we don't really want the alcohol in that, then just swap it for fresh orange juice, okay? This is what I love about the show, is I can give you lots of variations as much as I can. So orange juice instead of the alcohol. It will taste a little bit different, but that's okay. But I think it's Christmassy and we like those flavours. But also you can still give it to kids because the alcohol will cook out of it in the oven, so no problem. All we've got to do now is 2 cups self-raising flour. Now you could be doing gluten-free flour in here if you wanted to make it gluten-free. There we go, fantastic. Hey, look, I'm whipping through this, aren't I? And I just want to fold this through until it's just combined. Remember the oven's 180 degrees, fan forced. And I just put that flour in one go and then just mix it, fold it all together. Notice there's no fat in this. And it's 1.4 grams of fat, and that's because of the almonds on the top. Because I'll show you, I'm going to put almonds on, because I think it's Christmas cake, it needs to have almonds, but you don't have to if you don't want to, because it'd then drop the fat count down to like 0.5 gram of fat at the most. So it's a very low fat fruit cake, but I like it because it's a lower carb one. And it's delicious, let's be sure. I know Billy loves this. All right, so our cake is ready. Now I've got my very old, very fabulous square cake tin. You want it to be fairly high, you don't want it to be really low. You can do it in a round tin if you want, it doesn't matter. But in this one I like to, because then it cuts really easy. So I'm just going to go over to the sink and spray the pan. You could use baking paper if you preferred, but I don't find it sticks. And now get our scraper, and we're just going to put that mix into the tin. It's a 19, is it Bill, 19 centimetres? Yeah, it's a 19 centimetre square cake tin if you want to measure it. Because if you make it in a tin that's bigger, it will be flatter. And as I said, this is going to go in the freezer, because if I leave it out, Bill will eat it and we won't have one for Christmas. I've actually done them for presents for people, and I've got the little round individual ones. And then I wrap them in the cellophane and put a little bit of mistletoe with it. People love it. And it really is something special than making your own Christmas cake or as a gift. I mean, who wouldn't love that? All right, so now we're just going to spread it out. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my gosh, I mean, Christmas cake. Can you believe what a year we have had, people? And I just appreciate you sticking with me for the year. I mean, we did add the extra show, mainly because when everyone was in lockdown, I felt like you needed some support. And I think of all things that I've learnt for this year is that we really need to focus on our health and prioritise that. And that's why I think, you know, buying something like the cookbooks or the shakes or the really healthy cookware is the way to go for Christmas. All right, so there's my cake. I'm now going to put the almonds on. Now they're the blanched almonds, and so I just go into each corner first. You probably can't see this, can you, Bill? No? And then I put 3 in along the edge. You can have a look at the picture in the book and you can just copy how I've done it. There we go. And I always have it pointing towards the centre. So the actual nut point is going towards. Then I put 3 in the middle. Here we go. And then I just do a couple around there. Oh, it just makes it look Christmassy, doesn't it, with the almonds on the top? Actually, I might do 4 in the middle. I think we're looking great. Okay, so now our almonds are done. There we go, and I just want to tap them down a little bit. Oh, I see, I missed that side. Let me just do that. All right, just tap them down a little bit so if they're sticking up a little bit. And there we go. How easy was this? I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy at Christmas time? It's called guilt-free. So bung it in the oven. I've got it at 180 degrees, fan force, and it's 55 minutes. Then check it and see, we did it for 60 when I made my one, because of course you want to see it finished, don't you? Let me just move this out of the way. Here we go. My daughter's already put her name on this one for her family. So there it is, all done and dusted and cooked. Remember, it's 1.4 grams of fat and only 33.9 carbs. Remember, there's the tropical one if you don't want the pumpkin, and if you don't want to do the individual fruit, you can use the mixed fruit, and it's 500 grams or 3 cups. Anyway, so there it is. There's our last recipe for the year. Now, what are you going to win? Our last show. Well, get ready, because we need a drum roll, please. Okay, what are you going to win? You're going to win book 1. Well, hopefully, 3 of you will. Book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5, book 6, and book 7. Oh yes, you're getting the full set, but as well, you have to have the new baby, and that's the Cookie 1 or 2, and I will personally sign them. You're also going to get a journal, because you'll need it in January. It's an 8-week journal, as well as something that you can't buy, and we're actually thinking to put it on the website in January because we found people are really needing it, and it's an audio double CD called Get Motivated and Lose Weight. So I talk to you with daily inspiration and lots of information. It's fabulous. It's worth $20. So the whole package is actually worth $150. I mean, how amazing is that? So what we're going to do now is we're going to tell you how to win it. So you like, you share, and in the comments, you know what we do on our last Thursday with Annette is hashtag Symply with a Y, number 2 good. Simply too good. Now don't forget to check the website out for lots of tips over Christmas. I've also got my Christmas survival ebook. You can get that now. Also the near flame, we're still keeping that going till the end of the year, and that's the half price glass lids with the wok or the pans. And you also will, get your knives in if you're wanting. I know a few people have said that they want that under their tree this year, and we're giving you a free $20 knife sharpener to go with it. So that is our last one for the year. But let's just bring out my gorgeous Billy. Come on, Billy. Come on out. Let me get my microphone so we can talk to you. So this is Billy.
Hey, everyone.
And he has been the rock behind the camera all year. Thank you very much.
Except for last week.
Except for last week. We had to manage without him. But, I just thought you might see the face. And what do you think has been the best thing about this year? Because really it's been a very challenging year for a lot of people.
I think just with doing the extra shows and that, what we've heard back from the people and that you've really enjoyed it, and we're glad that we could have help out in that way.
Yes. And of course he's our packer and mailer, so he wears many hats. He's got his Christmas hat on, but he wears many hats. It's simply too good. Alrighty, guys. Well, I thank you, Billy, for all your support.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and have a fantastic New Year.
I couldn't do without him. Isn't he a hottie? Are we so fabulous? Anyway, let me put that back on. So we will be back February. Don't forget, check out the website. I think we're done. Thank you for a fabulous 2020, and I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I hope that 2021 is your best year yet. Take care, and thanks for supporting us this year. We'll be back in February. Bye now.